223 rifle bullet. Out of my gun, it's going to be traveling about 2,900 feet per second. Out of a 20-inch barrel, it'll be running close to 3. For demonstration purposes, you're going to see the steel's going to get some pock marks in it, but that's because we're so stinking close. Typically, you're shooting steel, it's rifle grade steel. It's not going to hurt it that much. My box, these test boxes, some of them are going on 20 years old. Sir, please don't. I want to keep everybody back here, please. The boxes are going on 20 years old. Same piece of steel, 20 years old. It's been hit thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I have a plate hanging on my range at work that's over 20 years old. Same plate. It's been shot with 223s, 308s, shotgun slugs made out of the same compressed copper tin material, and it's just now starting to finally bow. It's starting to flex a little bit. So if you have steel on your range, you know it gets shot up eventually. It gets holes in it, gets pockmarked, it gets cratered, and it becomes a lot more dangerous. Bullets will hit those pockmarks and reform. That lead and that gilding metal jacket like to form up, and they'll come right back out of those pockmarks and stick in you somewhere. We don't want that. Or they're going to fly out of your range and go somewhere we don't want them to. So that's, if you have an outdoor range with a small footprint, they're lucky out here because you'll hear bullets going zing, zing, zing all day long. If you were in more of an urban type area, that means those bullets are probably leaving the footprint of your range. You don't want that because you're probably going to get sued. So let's do some rifle.
So really, I mean, there's a huge environmental impact as well.
I'll talk about that, get to that, but yes, there is. So same thing with rifle. I won't hammer on it too much here, but going hard. Guns clear. Same principle with the rifle. Into the shoot box. We want rounds going in, but we don't want anything coming back out. And I'm trying to conserve a little bit of ammo here because I got lots of these demos to do, but same thing. And you'll see the back of this box is getting shot up because we're so close. When you hit it with rifles, eventually it starts to soften up the steel. But the most important thing is the shooter's okay. So we're going to back up again. We're going to do the same thing. I'll need 2 more folks to come on up. Come on, you're not going to get hurt.
I'll get up around these.
Come on. You come up on my right side.
All right.
Lori, on my left. All right. Hand on a shoulder so I know where you're at. Going hard. So have you ever shot steel this close with a rifle?
No.
Well, now you have. Okay, everything's fine.
Oh my.
You ever shot steel this close with a rifle?
No.
Lori, I wouldn't do this if
I
wasn't safe.
know.
Gun's clear.
One over here.
Are you bleeding?
Negative.
No.
But did you die? Lori always says to me, but did you die? All bleeding eventually stops. All bleeding eventually stops.
So the frangibility aspect of the projectiles is pretty cool. I get spoiled shooting them because I go to steel shoots. And eventually you'll hear me say, ow! And I'll say some kind of explicatory lead shooters. And they'll look at me like, well, what are you talking about? Why would we shoot anything else? Well, there's options. Any of you ever go out to the LA area? Anybody from California?
Yeah.
So the rifle range, just about an hour north of LA. LAPD uses it. They have a big sign in their parking lot that says, "We are not responsible for damage to vehicles due to ricochets." So LAPD uses that for a lot of their rifle training. LAPD captain rolls in a brand new Tesla, parks on the range, gets out, he's all proud of his car, and we hear, pew, thump. Somebody launched a 45, 230 grain jacketed round that hit a piece of steel or a rock or something, floated out of the range and bonked right on his hood. he was pissed. To say the least, I would be too. Brand new car. Yeah, he wasn't happy. So, and that's a material thing that can be replaced. We can. So, the frangibility aspect of the Sinter Fire bullet is pretty heavy. The lead-free aspect of it, when we're on an outdoor range like this in Vegas, nobody cares. But there's a lot of places, especially indoors, where lead is a huge, huge concern. So for some of the indoor ranges in Vegas that use a Sinter Fire bullet, the EPA and the OSHA inspectors come in, and the first place they go is their food counter, and they swab it. And if that swab turns blue, that means there's too much lead there, and the food service will get shut down. They have their indoor ranges that they need to clean, that they have to keep track of. They have to monitor their filters. Lead can be a real problem, and you have to manage it. And the Sinter Fire bullet can help not do that. You can have a lot more freedom on your indoor range. So now we'll get into the more interesting part. We've talked about how frangible bullets don't penetrate. Well, we're going to put that to bed right now.
Right, so Fiocchi's buying your bullet and making the cartridge.
So, yes, Fiocchi is going to buy the projectiles from us. They're going to put them on their loading presses, their powder, their brass, and turn them into loaded ammunition. So you'll see it in a Fiocchi box under Fiocchi branding. So let's get back to the hollow, or to the flat points again. So this is the same bullet I showed you earlier, the flat point. The bullet has to hit any of the Sinter Fire bullets, whether they be 9s, 40s, 45s, buckshot pellets, number 4 and 00, or a shotgun slug. It's got to hit something as hard as itself. So I'm going to shoot the flat points in this gel. So make sure you're back a little bit. Going hot. Gun's clear. So everybody saw the impacts on the berm, right? Come on up. Frangible bullets like to penetrate even better because the way they're made, they're a monolithic solid. That means that from the tip to the base, they're relatively the same weight. They don't have a lead base or a heavier copper base, so they like to penetrate straight through. So this is full metal jacket type performance. It doesn't fragment, it doesn't do anything. The bullet's got to hit something as hard as itself or harder, except if it's hollow pointed. So we take the same copper tin bullet, we produce it exactly the same, except we drill a hole in it. And it's drilled specifically with a certain diameter bit to a certain depth to penetrate through all of the FBI test protocol, except the windshield. It can't beat a windshield. You have to shoot a bonded bullet, an SXT or a gold dot, and we're going to shoot some of those a little bit later to defeat the windshield. But police departments I go to, they say, well, if it won't do that, then we're not going to use it for standard duty. But we've got schools, we've got jails, we've got correctional institutions where you're working in a hardened environment all day long. That ricochet is a huge concern. So now we'll take a look at the hollow point bullet. So frangibles penetrate. So a lot of people that hunt hogs and deer, they like bullets that are super deep penetrators, like a hard cast lead bullet. They like our bullets because they'll penetrate through a pig one end to the other, through a deer one end to the other. That's what I used to hunt handgun with, is our solid bullets. I've also hunted with the hollow point bullets, and we'll see what they look like. So if you can back up again, I'll get me a... Okay, 100 grain 9mm frangible hollow point. Going hot. That's clear. Come on up. So the nose of the bullet down to the depth that we drill the hollow point, that's where you get the fragmentation. So I shot one earlier this morning. I tried to get a couple shots out of each of these blocks. But anytime you build a bullet for defensive purposes, offensive purposes, however you want to look at it, you need either massive expansion and penetration, or massive fragmentation and penetration. These blocks, a lot of people think they measure the human body front to back. They don't. They represent the human body shoulder to shoulder, because gunfights aren't two-dimensional. Bullets penetrating from odd angles, you have to penetrate in. So this performance is great. We cut a lot of tissue, a lot of blood loss, but we need something left over to penetrate. And let's see, keep in mind that I flunked out of medical school.
You need a longer scalpel.
Or, yeah, longer knife might work, but
So someone my size who's kind of scrawny.
ta-da! Ta-da! So you can see there's kind of a shiny dimple. That's where the drill bit stopped.
It's like a little sharp.
So we've built our bullets, so we go through all the FBI test protocol. Bare gel, light clothing, heavy clothing, wallboard, car door. We can pass all of the FBI protocol with 12 inches of penetration except the windshield. I just can't do it. Not even gonna, can't lie, won't do it.
So in comparing to a lead bullet in terms of a hollow point for like the exit size, is that similar, smaller, smaller?
It depends.
Like, is it?
It depends
like you look
on
at the wounding capacity, right?
It depends on how it exits. So if a
Right.
conventional hollow point exit this block, it's going to blow out a little bit. Where our base is, it may not blow out as much. Depending on the scenario, though, you may not want that exit. You still want a good deep penetration, but you may not want an exit. I like exit wounds personally, especially for handguns. Handgun bullets, they're big enough. We just can't make them go fast enough yet. The day that we can make about 125 grain bullet go about 2,500 feet per second out of a handgun, then we'll have some. But until then, it's tough. You know, pistol bullets are big enough. We just can't make them go fast enough. So we need a bullet that's going to perform as absolute best it can. So, why would you want this though? I need everybody to back up again, please. I gotta set up something here a little quick.